What's up, interwebs? It's your realtor, Jeremy. It's Tuesday. It's time for the Tuesday market update. This week, we're taking a look at the two areas that are technically Phoenix, but don't tell them they live in Phoenix, because they live in Ahwatukee or Arcadia. Alright, let's get into it. This week we're looking at Arcadia and Ahwatukee. Let's do Ahwatukee first. Again, this is still technically a part of Phoenix, but don't ask the people that live there if they live in Phoenix. They'll tell you Ahwatukee. It's just planned developments on the south side of South Mountain. Very unique characteristic, quite a bit different from the general city of Phoenix, which is part of the reason why they are Ahwatukee, not Phoenix. Anyway, check out these numbers. You can see the the new and the sold were dipped a little bit last month, which means the actives kind of came up a little bit, came back strong. Average listing prices has been increasing steadily and pretty consistently. Absorption rate, we're a little over a month, actually about a month and a couple days, so that's pretty good. And sold to list ratio is a little bit under 100%. So in Ahwatukee, we're not having those kind of bidding wars we're having in Chandler, Gilbert, and some of those other hot places. Average sale price $457,878, up from $382,910, almost 19.5% change, which is why we always look at our year-to-date number, and that's about 11% change. So still great appreciation. This is anything really over 6 or 7 is pretty impressive appreciation. Looking at the spread of houses that have sold, the bulk are in that 300 to 400, but not far behind as the 400 to 500. And as you can see, I think there's active listings clear up to 3 million plus. So there are both some $140,000, $150,000 townhouses, condo type units, as well as these big multi-million-dollar houses. So kind of a big spread of stuff there in Ahwatukee. Looking at Arcadia, again, technically Phoenix. Your zip code, your address says Phoenix, Arizona, but there's a very specific area just nestled south of Camelback Mountain in an area called Arcadia. It used to be some old ranch-style homes that were on huge lots, and developers started buying the houses, the entire property, then bulldozing the house and splitting it up into 2 or 3 different properties, and then building these multi-million-dollar houses. They're gorgeous, and it's a very unique architectural style in that area. You're going to get more of that modern farmhouse kind of style vibe, and they're the kind that you really won't find in a large grouping in just about any other place in the valley. So they're pretty unique. Maybe Morrison Ranch a little bit out in Gilbert, but not the size of homes for sure. Anyway, take a look at this and you can see, just like all these other cities, the new listings and the sold listings both tipped a bit in November. Active listings still pretty high. You can see because this is a higher price point, we're not seeing all 3 lines kind of converging with each other. See, the sold price there is all over the map, and that's because there is a wide spread of prices, and there's also not a lot of stuff that's sold. It's one of the reasons I don't tend to delve too deep into zip codes often, because the fewer houses we have, the more volatile and ridiculous the numbers look. So there's kind of there's a sweet spot of anything over a few hundred houses, like 150, 130, 150 houses, you'll get less volatility in these numbers. Absorption rate, you can see, has continued to decline as we have fewer and fewer listings. And as you can see, definitely selling a reasonable, pretty substantial amount under the list price. That scale only goes up to 98, where all our other ones are going to like 100 or 101. So interesting. So in Arcadia, you're not seeing much that goes for over asking. Almost all of them go under by about 2%, actually, 2 or 3%. So, and we're talking $1 million house. It's actually pretty substantial. All right, so average sale price, $1,659,000, up from $1,456,000. That's almost a 14% appreciation. Looking at the year-to-date number, I'm laughing because it's ridiculous. $1,586,000, up from $1,254,000, a 26.5% 8% change. So just again, with the small number of houses sold and the high price point that many of them are, you get this weird volatility that makes things look a little ridiculous. I definitely think there's been strong appreciation in Arcadia. It's not just that the houses necessarily gain value, but they're selling better houses because, like I said, they're still developing Arcadia. They're still buying up these older houses and splitting up the land and building these bigger, nicer houses. So it's always going to kind of be shifting a little bit. And let's see if we can see that in the houses that sold. So we're going to look at the spread here. Again, only 22 sold, but you got one that sold for 160, or two that sold for in the 160s. Obviously, that's going to be in that Arcadia Light area. 300s, but you get into like 4 over $1 million, 3 over 1.2 million. 4 of them were over $3 million. So there's a lot of large, very high-end properties in Arcadia. So it's interesting. I like to look at it. Like I said, I don't tend to look that narrow of a focus often because the numbers don't always jive or make sense with what's actually happening in that zip code. So, but it's fun because Arcadia and Ahwatukee both still part of Phoenix, but they pretend like they're not. It's hilarious. Anyway, tune in next week. We're going to do a little bit longer form, and we are going to go over some predictions, some like looking at the data for the future and how we're not speculating so much as we're looking at the data and projecting out our expectation based off of what's currently happening, what's been happening. It's really interesting because things don't move quickly. Well, houses sell quickly, but the market does not move quickly. It is a slow-moving ship. And so all of the data we're seeing now, we can pretty confidently predict the next 6 months. So I'm going to share all that kind of stuff with you guys, so make sure you check back here for what will be the last Tuesday market update for 2020. I hope you're enjoying the ramp up of the holiday season. It's my favorite time of the year. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. We'll see you next week on the Tuesday market update. Bye.